was gathered that Dr. Cooper died on Friday, this morning, after critically ill in the weeks leading up to his demise. So sad a tale. It's an elder statesman. I mean, you can't really beat his contribution to our political discourse and the national politics that, of course, he has played. He's moved from one political party to another. The last, of course, was the Labour Party, and then I think he also moved back to the APC just a few months ago. So it is quite an interesting conversation right there, given what he has contributed to our political space while he lived. He's 72, and of course, the family would in due course announce the date of his burial. Once again, it reminds us of the fact that no man would live on this earth forever. So the little time that you have here, whether it's a 50, 40, 80, or 100 years, endeavor to make sure you live a life of impact. In other stories, the Nigerian Senate has suspended Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for 6 months over her dispute with Senate President Godswill Akpabio over seating rearrangement. The suspension was recommended by the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions, citing her violations of Senate rules and disrespect towards the Constitution. The committee chairman, Senator Imaswen Neda Benners, representing Edo South Senatorial District, submitted that the committee carried out an investigation Wednesday during which the female lawmaker was afforded the opportunity to state her own side of the story.
1. That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan for 6 months for her total violation of the Senate Standing Rules 2023 as amended for bringing the presiding officer and the entire Senate in general to public opprobrium. 2. That for the Senate to consider lifting the suspension or to reduce the term of suspension, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan shall submit a written apology to the Senate before the reconsideration by the Senate. 3. That the Senate do suspend Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan with effect from 6 March 2025 from all legislative activities forthwith. 4. That her office be locked up for the duration of her suspension and hand over all Senate properties in her possession to the clerk of the National Assembly. 5. That for the duration of her suspension she cannot come or be seen within the vicinity of the National Assembly, including her staff. 6. That her salaries and allowances, including those of her legislative aides, be suspended and withdraw of all security details for the duration of her suspension. And 7. That for the period of her suspension, she be barred from representing herself to the public, locally and internationally, as the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
A cross-sections of lawmakers in their contributions expressed concern over the conduct of Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, insisting that the Senate as an institution must be protected at all costs.
I appreciate you, Mr. President, being a liberalist. You want cooperation, you want collaboration, but the distillment of our rules to the hearing of every senator is very key. And should you go to your liberalism and begin to do cooperation and collaboration in these chambers, then there will be complete breakdown of orders.
I stand by the prayers that this committee's report states, and I say that please, there is little or no need to continue to debate this. Let us get into the action of the day.
So I'm against the lifting of any or reducing any suspension less than 6 months, which was recommended by the committee.
He who comes to equity must come with clean hands. You cannot at one end seek to take refuge under certain provisions of the rules and in another arm seek to violate it.
My advice and appeal to her will be that she spends her period of suspension to read and learn our rules very well, so that when she comes back to the Senate, she would have come back as someone who understands this rule.
Today,
everywhere, including Berekete Radio, calling number 3 to come and explain things. Just a radio that we licensed. It's an insult. My own now is how to bring this integrity back. Once a damage is done, to bring it back is a long story. All of us must have to work hard. Within this period, we have to bring it back.
Let us take Nigeria to the promised land. There are works to do for our people. We are not sent here because of all these intrigues and all this rubbish. We are sent here to work for our people. Let the decision of the committee, let it stand. Thank you.
In pleading for mercy, the minority leader, Senator Abamoro, recommended the 3-month suspension, which he said was enough for the embattled lawmaker to realize her mistakes. He further argued that Nigerians are watching and seeing them as statesmen, hence nothing should be done to bring disrepute to the chamber.
We therefore say that this Senate is aware that even in our homes, we have very recalcitrant children. we don't drive these children away from the house, so we keep begging them to be of good behavior. Sometimes we beat them too. And so today we are faced with this situation that we all know impinges on the integrity of this institution, that is ordinarily the highest lawmaking institution in Nigeria. And so the expectation of many Nigerians is that we must demonstrate the highest level of integrity.
However, the lawmakers ruled that the suspension could be lifted or reduced if she tenders a written apology. The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, made remarks highlighting his personal connection to the senator. The suspension for 6 months was sustained by Senate President after a voice vote. Meanwhile, Akpoti Odoagan says her suspension from the Senate is unjust and invalidates the principles of natural justice, fairness and equity. She made this known on her Facebook page while reacting to her suspension on Thursday by the Senate as recommended by its Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct and Public Petitions. In other stories, the ENUGU Local Government Council has clarified the Tuesday protest by some women of the Hamufu communities, blaming it on deliberate misinformation and politicization of security matters in the local government area by some political actors. The council's position and clarifications were contained in a statement personally signed by the council chairman, Barrister Obiora Obiagu, on Wednesday. The council explained that the recent video of women protesting alleged killings by herders in the Hamufu community were propelled by total misinformation and not a true reflection of current security realities in its usual local government area since Governor Peter Mba's assumption of office.
We are going hungry. They are sleeping with our women. After sleeping with them, they will use a stick under their victory, which is very bad. Government of ENUGU State. Our farm settlements occupied. We're living witness. How do you know? Here you want to have 2 million naira. 1 million to can the when he has a man this also and then you know when one you get kita one yahu nothing and that's your shitty nothing like it and it's my pay. Can you plan you will now one? They are crying. Government of Enugu State.
The statement further said that the protest, which happened on Tuesday, was a sponsored protest and political propaganda orchestrated by mischievous elements and enemies of progress who fed the protesting women with lies and false information for political capital. Speaking to Signature TV Southeast program on Thursday is a journalist from Ebonyi State, Ikele Ejike, who witnessed the protest.
Just this morning, at about 7 a.m., the women of Ehamufu and issues or local government area of Ebonyi State came out in their numbers to protest the alleged killing of innocent people by Fulani headers. They said that this crisis has been on for more than 5 years. Almost all the government facilities were shut down, schools, including Federal College of Education and Hamufu activities. If you have been to that place before, I said that road leads to Obola for where you can connect to Abuja. But as of today, there was no movement to that area as a whole. So the protest lasted for about 4 hours until when I heard that some government personnel were coming to address them. Now they also said that one of their grievances was that as at yesterday they protested to the local government, where the local government chairman went on air to claim that their protest was politically motivated. So with such statements, they came out today to tell him that their protest is not politically motivated, that they are agitating, that the headers should leave their community, that they never shared boundary with Fulani herdsmen, that the only state that they have common boundary with is Ebonyi State and Benue State. That was the situation, sir.
All right then. So, apart from
one of the things they said is that a lady that Thursday was raped by 3 headers, and after raping the lady, they also inserted their stick on her private parts. And as at yesterday, one graduate from Nnamdi University, the only child of his parents, went to the farm and he was killed, and his sex organ was mutilated. At the point, they thought it was a ritualist, but an eyewitness came and testified that it was headers that killed him. So So, and they also even attempted to force me to go to the mortuary to confirm that these persons, these bodies, because they are the documented bodies that were killed by the suspected headers. So they also wanted me to go to the mortuary to confirm it. So those are the things they articulated that formed the protest. They said in the security aspect, they also alleged that the military presence there never protected them. That what the military does is, as soon as they hear that there's a killing, they are the ones that usually go to the farm area to bring the cops. But when it comes to protection, in fact, that there was a time some persons came with helicopter and military uniform. The community, the large, thinking that it is just Nigerian military. They never knew that it was a suspected header, and they launched an attack on them.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that story. It's one that's developing. 8 Democratic-led states on Thursday filed a lawsuit challenging cuts U.S. President Donald Trump's administration made to grant funding for teacher preparation programs. A move, they said, was in keeping with Republicans' efforts to eradicate diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives from society. The lawsuit was filed in Boston federal court and took aim at the U.S. Department of Education's decision to terminate grants awarded through 2 federal programs designed to support training teachers and creating a pipeline to fill positions in hard-to-staff schools in rural and urban areas. Trump and billionaire ally Elon Musk, the architect of the Department of Government Efficiency, have pledged to dismantle the Education Department as they push to rapidly slash spending and the size of the federal workforce. By February 17, the Education Department said it had cancelled over $600 million in grants to institutions and non-profits that it said were used to train teachers and education agencies on divisive ideologies, including DEI, critical race theory, and anti-racism. State attorneys general from California, Massachusetts, and New Jersey are co-leading the lawsuit, which is also being pursued by their counterparts in Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, New York, and Wisconsin. They were seeking a temporary restraining order to restore the funding.
I want to take this opportunity to announce the latest lawsuit that I'm leading alongside 7 Democratic attorneys general against the Trump administration after it unlawfully terminated education grants for California and for other states across the nation. Grants that in California total, by our estimation, $148 million. And between all states represented in this lawsuit, total at least $250 million. So across the plaintiff states in this case. For those who've lost count, this is now the 6th time we've been forced to sue the president since his term began just over 6 weeks ago. Disheartening and disappointing, yes, but not at all surprising, unfortunately.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump's envoy for Russia and Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, says on Thursday that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was responsible for the Trump administration's decision to suspend intelligence sharing with Ukraine. On Wednesday, CIA Director John Ratcliffe announced that the U.S. had paused intelligence sharing with Ukraine, piling pressure on Zelensky to cooperate with Trump in convening peace talks with Russia.
Yeah, but you know, this is one of those, very candidly, they brought it on themselves, the Ukrainians. What I mean by that, look, when we were in the Oval Office last week on Friday, and I'll kind of give you the background a little bit of it, when we talked with President Zelensky before that meeting, there were 13 U.S. senators at Hay Adams. And we said, okay, this is like stage managing. This is what you want to say. It's basically going to come in. We have a precious metals deal. You're going to sign the deal. You're going to have lunch, have a press conference, exit stage right, and you're good to go. We continue to go. What happened became a very combative press conference that went on for almost, 50 minutes. That caught everybody a little bit by surprise. I was right there. And I think what happened is everybody said, wait a second, this is not what we thought this was going to be. You don't negotiate peace discussions in public. You don't try to challenge the President of the United States in the Oval Office that, in fact, you need to side with me and not the Russians.
The suspension of intelligence sharing, which could cost lives by hurting Ukraine's ability to defend itself against Russia missile strikes, followed a halt this week to U.S. military aid to Kyiv. We'll go on a short break, and when we return, let's have your thoughts live on any of these top 5 stories. And numbers are right now showing on your screen. Better still, it's +234 912 520 7370. You can call that number and go straight into the studio for you to have your say on any of the top 5 stories. We're back after this, so stay with us.
With a population of about 36 million people, the Southeast is awash with stories. Every day on Southeast News, we tell the peculiar story of the Southeast and her people.
Our Southeast should be the Silicon Valley of Nigeria.
Their successes, achievements, and daily challenges. Do you have a Southeast story to share? Community achievements and challenges, completed and uncompleted projects, bad roads, water scarcity, erosion, flooding, insecurity, or even disagreements? Bring it on to Southeast News. On Southeast News, no story is too big or too small. Southeast News. Let's tell our story. Showing on Signature TV every weekday at 4 p.m. WAT, 1600 hours GMT.
Every second, every minute, every day, news is breaking. Events occur and there are new developments. At Signature TV, we follow these stories objectively, bringing all sides without bias, explaining the complex issues, breaking down the numbers, and investigating the issues behind the news. Anywhere and everywhere, near or far, wherever the news is, we will be there. Save Nature TV. News in your pocket.
This is still the top 5 stories. Which one has caught your attention so far? Remember the numbers to call: +234 912 520 7370. I mean, amongst the 5 stories, apparently, it's the story from Ehamufu that really got my attention, because this is one story that has surfaced over and over and over again. I mean, last year in the month of April 2024, I and my team traveled all the way to not Isuzu now. We went to Nimbo, where 4 persons had been killed during an invasion of the Fulani headsmen on that community. Before that, we also know about the well-publicized invasion that happened in 2016. That's like 9 years ago under the last administration of Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. We know what happened at that time. The government released a statement saying clearly that they would not take it. Fast forward to 2024, the current governor of Peter Amba apparently came out and said that ENUGU people are very hospitable people, and that should not be misconstrued to being weak. And so it is so heart-wrenching that after that particular statement that he made in Nimbo, we still have these repeated attacks happen around us. I did a report also just last December, some few months back, and the people of Ehamufu, especially Ikem, are complaining bitterly about these attacks. It is not like I'm so even pained about the statements by the chairman of Isuzu local government area, denying it and saying that people are sponsored. Those women that are out protesting are sponsored just to gain political, capital. And I'm like, how possible can that really be? I'm a journalist who have covered that area, covered the killings in that area, and even firsthand hear the stories of these people and how they have been maimed, they have been killed. People are fear for their lives going to the farm. And now you think that just sitting in town and releasing statements, and instead of calling for investigation on the matter, would sweep things under the carpet. I mean, I think that the best thing that statement would have highlighted would have been investigating it rather than saying that nothing of such may have happened. Some of them have said that the council chairman doesn't even live in Ikem in the first place to even think that particular issue, that he wouldn't know that particular issue really happened. So I really don't know what your thoughts are on this matter. Let us know what they are in your phone calls right now. Good to have you. Thank you for joining us. Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Okay, my name is Kate, and I'm calling from ENUGU.
All right, go ahead, please.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay, I just want to talk on Natasha's suspicion. a little bit on Natasha's suspension and also on the other story.
Right, go ahead with your comments.
Yeah, I'm also sorry. Okay, yes, I feel the suspension that they gave to Natasha was actually more of an injustice, just like she said before she left the house. I feel it was so unjust for them to give her a 6 month suspension from the house. And also, why am I saying this? At the point where a woman says that she is sexually harassed, obviously from an upper party, above, just like we have with Natasha and the Supreme next president, I feel they would have actually gone with, they would have gone with finding out more claim or allegation than the so-called Access and Privileges Committee sitting and concluding that she does not have an evidence to it and therefore she should go no strike. Why am I saying this? I feel it is an injustice on the back of the woman. And Natasha is more like a public figure. So imagine when you have this from a senator, a sitting senator, younger girl, that has also faced such sexual abuse, harassment and all, who does not even have the boldness to talk. At this point, what is the message that Nigerians are passing? I mean, the Red House should be an institute that people look up to, where our rights are kind of shouldn't be tampered with. But then again, what just happened was not proper. It's not the right thing to do. That is my own suggestion. On Natasha's case, I feel that they would have also given her a fair treatment to that particular claim. Even when she brought a court order. That court order was considered dead on arrival. They didn't even look at the court order to know what the court order was all about. And they claimed it was that it came as dead on arrival. There are so many things to this, and I feel how can the state senator be a judge in his own case? I mean, that issue is actually about you. And you're the one handling the case in the house. You're the one dishing out the punishments and all. It has always been a man's war. A man's thing in this country. Let's not just say it's a man's war. Because when you go to the western part of this world, it's obviously not the same. But there should not be seen on our second class status. That is all about the men.
All right.
If really there was something that was going on between Natasha and the Senate president, and they had a misunderstanding or they, at some point they had to, it was no longer working. I think it's something that they should even do outside and not to bring veto power inside it. Because it has a whole lot, this justice or this injustice has a whole lot to speak out there. I'm no longer talking about the ceiling. I'm talking about the outside world.
Right.
Our girl child. What are we celebrating tomorrow that is International Women's Day? Meanwhile, our women are facing a lot and they can't even express themselves. Because it's a man's world. Then again, I was talking about the Yamusu thing. I still feel we have a long way to go. Because something similar happened about the protest that was going on in the Snake House, where we saw people that don't even know what was going on, that don't even know Natasha, coming to fight or protest against the young lady in the Senate. Likewise, it was also Parisa. So at that point, I feel we should actually look at, kind of tackling our mentality. I think we should look at this. Our leaders should look at human empowerment. Because at this point, I don't know, but that is why even when you go during elections, they buy people, they buy votes, you see people selling their votes. They don't even know. What I'm saying it is because I feel even when I watched that the young women and what they were saying, I felt it's not looking real in my eyes.
Are you saying that those women were paid to do what they did?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are you saying those women who were out protesting against the attack by Fulani headsmen on them, are you saying that nothing of such happened, that they were paid to do so?
They were obviously paid to do so. They were paid to do so.
Oh, really?
Because at the point where they were, if we are just very happy, people they are saying they're actually right. Like, did you go to look at, okay, what were the casualties like? It's not all about protecting. You needed to have been there to ask them questions and see their response.
All right.
So I feel they were both. That's my take on it.
Okay.
And the moment, or it's high time politicians stop abusing our ignorance. It's a shame or not that we just stand, we just come out, not even in the background of anything. We just take a stand and we start talking. It's a shame on us. The ignorance is high. It's really, really very. I don't know how to. I think we still have a long way to go in terms of educating our children.
All right. Faith, thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate you. We appreciate your call from Enugu State. We truly do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. That was Faith, a colleague from Enugu State, stating clearly that she is standing by the statement by the council chairman, stating that nothing of such is happening in the ECU's or local government area, and dismissed whatever protest that those women came out to do. But I am just saying that instead of dismissing it, how about an investigation? You don't just jump into conclusion. This protest happened on Tuesday. I mean, a little investigation would assist in getting to the root causes of some of these issues. As a journalist, I've covered Nimbo, I've gone to Ihamufu, and those stories are real. You can practically feel them. So the best that this local government chairman would have done is to at least call for investigation, not dismissing it. I mean, we can't keep denying these issues when we haven't investigated it. You know, it's good to investigate it, and when it is done, then we can now go to papers and say, look, based on the investigation by security agencies, this happened, it didn't happen, instead of just dismissing it completely. That's my thinking. That's it for today. We truly appreciate you. We're back tomorrow next time for another fine time with you on the top 5 stories. I'm Charles Pius. Have a good evening.
Welcome to Global News on Signature TV. I am Barry Kumo Ado. In the headlines, River State House of Assembly gives another 72 hours for officials of a state independent electoral commission to appear before it. Governor Oti tells Southeast Development Commission to tackle the problem of power supply in the region. European Union leaders agree to support Zelensky after US aid freeze. And South Korean protesters demand halt to military drills after accidental bombing. Details shortly.
We are local.
We are right now with the wife of the man that was...
Why the main market is in chaos. People are...
We are national.
Those in support of this motion as amended, say aye. Aye.
We have taken the vote by default.
We are international.
Israeli airstrikes.
Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment.
Signature TV, news in your pocket.
The River State House of Assembly has given the chairman and commissioners of the River State Independent Electoral Commission, RISIEC, another 72 hours to appear before it. Lawmakers reached a resolution during plenary in Port Harcourt on Friday after the expiration of a 48-hour ultimatum that are issued to them to appear in the legislature. After deliberating on a request brought by one of the lawmakers, Enemi George, on the matter, the House voted to extend the ultimatum to Monday, 10th March, to enable the chairman of the commission, retired Justice Adolphus Enebeli, and other officials to appear before the lawmakers. The House had proposed to go on a break, but due to the extension of the ultimatum, Deputy Speaker of the House, Dumel Mal, moved a motion to suspend the recess to enable them to attend to the RISIEC chairman and his commissioners. In his remarks, the Speaker of the River State House of Assembly, Martin Amewale, said the House has also taken legislative notice of Governor Siminalayi Fubara's failure to present the 2025 budget to the House for consideration, despite a 48-hour ultimatum to him. The River State Police Command has vowed to crack down on threats to national security, insisting that no group has a monopoly on violence. Commissioner of Police Olubenga Adepoju, who issued a warning following threats by some militants and others, said the police are equal to the task. He assured residents that security forces were prepared to contain any disruptions and that law enforcement will not tolerate attempts to destabilize the state. Tensions have been high in River State following threats by a militant group, the Niger Delta Rescue Movement, to attack oil installations in response to the ongoing political crisis and alleged withholding of the state's federal allocation. The group also issued a warning to non-indigents in the state, urging them to leave for their safety, claiming that hostilities are imminent. President Bola Tinubu has paid tribute to a former presidential spokesman, Donyo Kukwe, who died on Friday morning, describing a late politician as one who played a significant role in Nigeria's political landscape. In a statement by its spokesman, Bayo Onanuga, Tinubu described Okukwe as a bold and articulate advocate for national development, expressing sorrow over his death at a time when its wealth of experience and insight was still invaluable to the nation. The President commiserated with the government and people of Ogun State, particularly the Ikperu Remo community, saying they have lost an esteemed son and leader. He recognized Okukwe's enduring impact on his home state, and a deep void his passing left in the hearts of those who came in direct contact with him. In his own tribute, the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, expressed deep sorrow over the death of Okukwe, who served as Director General of his 2023 presidential campaign, describing him as a man who desired a better Nigeria. He noted that Okukwe's death was a profound loss, not only to his family and loved ones, but to the entire nation. They urged members of the obedient movement and the public to pray for the repose of Okukwe's soul and support his family in this difficult time. Okukwe served as President Goodluck Jonathan's Senior Special Assistant on Public Affairs and President Olusegun Obasanjo's Special Assistant on Media. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has confirmed the timeline for the upcoming primaries for the 2025 Anambra State governorship election, scheduled to take place on Saturday, November 8, 2025. INEC announced that party primaries for the nomination of candidates will begin in just 2 weeks, starting March 20, 2025, and will conclude by April 10, 2025, as part of ongoing preparations for the off-cycle governorship election in the state. The Commission had previously published the notice of election on November 13, 2024, in accordance with the Electoral Act 2022, with mandates that the notice be issued at least 360 days before the election date. According to the INEC release, 12 out of the 19 registered political parties in Nigeria have already submitted detailed schedules for their primaries. As the primaries approach, a commissioner has reminded all political parties of their responsibility to comply with the timelines to ensure a smooth electoral process for the Anambra State governorship election. Anambra State Governor Chukwuma Soludo has urged the Southeast Development Commission, SEDC, to concentrate on one agenda or project at a time to achieve meaningful impact in the zone. Soludo made a call when he received the newly appointed members of the SEDC led by the Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Emeka Mogu, at the Governor's Lodge in Awka on Friday. He urged the Commission to focus on its initiatives in the next 5 years, emphasizing the importance of effective delivery mechanisms to provide value to the people. Soludo also urged the Commission to collaborate with Southeast governors to achieve significant progress. Mogu commended Soludo for his significant achievements in health, education, and infrastructure sectors. Also speaking, Managing Director SEDC Mark Okoye said the Commission remained committed to establishing the Southeast region as a leading investment hub to foster sustainable development and economic growth. Meanwhile, Abia State Governor Alex Oti has urged the board and management of the Southeast Development Commission to give priority attention to the issue of power, describing electricity as crucial to the economic development of the region. Oti, while receiving a delegation from the Commission, emphasized that investment in power should be a key focus for the government, as the manufacturing sector cannot thrive without adequate electricity supply. The governor revealed that discussions are ongoing with Interstate Electrics Limited for the Abia State government to acquire the equity in the ENUGU Electricity Distribution Company, EEDC. This, he explained, would enable the government to extend electricity to parts of the state that currently covered by geometric power. Governor Oti also commended President Bola Tinubu for approving the establishment of SEDC, stating that it would help create a enabling environment for business to flourish. Governor Oti also commended President Bola Tinubu The Enugu state government has banned the posting of posters on any outdoor surface or space in the state without approval, warning that defaulters will face a fine of up to 50 million naira. The general manager of the Enugu State Structures for Signages and Advertisement Agency, ENSA, Frank Adinwike, who stated this in a statement in Enugu, said it is unlawful to post or display posters on any outdoor surface or space in the state without first obtaining written approval from the agency. Adinwike stressed that failure to comply with the directive amounts to a violation of the ENSA Law 2016. He said the law empowered the agency to control the posting and display of posters on outdoor surfaces and spaces and to make regulations on the subject matter of a notice. Media Rights Agenda, MRA, has called on media stakeholders to take urgent steps to empower female journalists with prominent roles in newsrooms, editorial leadership, and decision-making positions within the media sector. In a statement issued on Friday in Lagos, MRA also urged stakeholders to create an enabling environment where female journalists could thrive without fear of harassment, discrimination, or violence. Statement released ahead of the 2025 International Women's Day on March 8. MRA's program officer, Ayomide Iweje Adewale, highlighted that female journalists continue to overcome multiple challenges, including gender inequality, safety concerns, and limited leadership opportunities, while making significant contributions to national development. She called for collaboration effort between media houses, civil society organizations, government agencies, and the public to ensure the safety and well-being of female journalists. According to her, women play important roles in projecting diversity of voices and opinions, as well as fostering a more inclusive media landscape. The Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, has described what she calls the lack of commitment to the implementation of laws that should improve the place of women and girls in Nigeria. The minister was speaking at the flag-off of the 2025 International Women's Day celebration in Abuja. Correspondent Josephine Beatrice reports.
The minister said that the issue of gender equality in Nigeria needs deliberate, decisive and bold action to break barriers, close gaps and empower Nigerian women and girls to achieve in every sphere of national life.
As you are aware, this year we also celebrate 30 years of the existence of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs as a vital, thank you very much, as a vital institutional mechanism for the advancement of the Nigerian gender agenda. Today, as I serve as the Nigerian Minister for Women Affairs, I do so with knowledge that this ministry has come of age, standing at the forefront of policy formulation, advocacy, and institutional reforms for gender equality in the country.
The minister said that as much as a number of state governments have domesticated the Child Rights Act and other laws favorable to women and girls, gender equality still faces 4 critical challenges.
However, the journey is far from over. There are 4 dimensions to these issues that continue to confront us. First, the legal policy framework. While Nigeria has made significant progress in enacting gender-responsive laws, such as the VAT Act and the Child Rights Act, full implementation remains a challenge.
The other challenges include lack of access to finance, markets, and digital literacy, gender-based violence, and poor political representation. The theme of the 2025 International Women's Day celebration is Accelerate Action, which emphasizes the need by nations to upscale and prioritize action.
Women often face numerous challenges in the society. Key among the challenges is a struggle to strike a balance between their role as housewives and as career women. Correspondent Raymond Ken Mbata has been asking crucial questions.
Combining the responsibilities of the workplace with household duties and upbringing of children can no doubt be quite demanding and stressful. Many jobs are quite stressful that many women find them quite difficult to handle because of the anxiety and depression associated with such positions. There is also an apparent conflict of interest as their roles as housewives and mothers often compromise their performance in the office. Some of their common struggles include long working hours, gender roles and expectations, career advancement versus family time, self-care and mental health, including support system and networking. An activist, academic, and the director of the Institute of Maritime Studies, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Professor Florence Orabweze, opined that women should be told that men are important and that her husband is her priority. She hinted that women have more responsibility over their children since men are overburdened and may not know how to handle stress at work and at home effectively.
That today some of them will wed, tomorrow they will break up.
And you see some of them saying that baby mamas. In what type of society, African society, that do we have baby mamas? Because you're an actress or you're in Nollywood or whatever you are. They should remember that we must set it again. That every child, particularly the boys, they want to be as other regular children. They want, it's better for them to have fathers who are dead than to have to say that they don't have fathers, and you see them imposing themselves and their children on very young, successful men. I think our society, I don't know where we are going, but they haven't seen the negative implications of what they are doing until tomorrow. It's in the future that they will see it. Every young child, I state myself, that mental, they want to have that mental balance, that they have a father. It's better for you to tell them this is the grave of their father than to tell them that this other man is your father. I think our young girls, we need to know what they are doing. They think that marriage is not important. Who told you? And when you are married, make sure that you keep your home. If you don't keep your home, another girl will come and snatch your husband from you.
On participation of women in politics, Professor Orabueze said women should confide in their husbands before venturing into the murky waters of Nigerian politics. She said men should not be blamed if they raise objection because of possible exposure to sexual exploitation, violence, rituals, and enormous financial demands.
Well, from what we are seeing from the Senate, it's obvious that a lot of murky waters are involved. And I don't blame the men who don't want their wives to be politicians. Because, like we are seeing, it's obvious that the women are also sex objects to the male politicians. And apart from sexual objectification of women, even in politics and in other professions, like I said, even in the academia, women are seen as sex objects, not only for the politicians. A lot of things are involved in politics. Apart from that, the violence, the thuggery, the killings of opponents, the rituals that they get involved in, and the money that is involved. That's why some men will look at it and said, I don't want my wife to be part of this politics. You better come out from there. You don't blame them. But I must tell our politicians that we are no longer, Nigerians are no longer happy with what we are hearing. Look at the Senate, the highest body in making laws. We are hearing this type of trivial and nonsense issues. It's not good.
A public servant, Onyinye Ibokwe, said women who are determined and committed and able to strike a balance between career and domestic activities can contribute immensely to societal growth. Ibokwe, however, insists that women must be intentional, focused and disciplined to achieve the desired success and maintain a happy home front.
Cultivate perseverance, be a lifelong learner, and venture outside your comfort zone.
Achieving a balance between work and personal life requires efforts, self-awareness, self-care, setting boundaries, and seeking support while at the same time being flexible, adaptable, and constantly re-evaluating her priorities and values. I am Raymond Ken Mbata, reporting for Signature TV.